Welcome to round 4 of Eat the Buckle, the horror movie battle royale podcast that puts two movies in a weekly head-to-head matchup where the loser will remain in the ring another week, and we will be forced to watch it repeatedly until we have one last movie standing in an effort to determine the worst horror movie ever made. This week's matchup, once again, 1981's Madman versus 2009's House of the Devil. I'm Jared, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts Aaron and Josh. Gentlemen, how are you doing? It's been a while.
Hello, buddies.
Hi.
Hello,
It's
friends.
been a couple weeks.
Did you get your dryer situation sorted out?
Yeah, the dryer's fixed. Dryer's fixed. I won't go into detail about what an embarrassment that was, but we got it fixed.
Okay, I kind of want to hear the embarrassing details.
So I swear we checked every fuse in the fuse box. I went through one by one, toggled them all, and it didn't work. And so I called on Monday, that following Monday, and explained to the guy what's going on, and he was like, well, we didn't do anything that should have thrown a fuse. And I was like, well, it's not working, man. That's all I know. You guys came out, you fixed the motor to the thing outside, and now my dryer doesn't work. He's like, well, he was really cool. He's like, well, do you want us to come out and take a look at it? I was like, that would be really awesome if you could. He's like, yeah, okay. So they show up. I wasn't there. CC was here, and the guy comes in and he's like, can I take a look at your fuse box? She said, yep. And he walks over and she said he just bent forward and looked and flipped the one breaker and said, try it now. And she tried it and it just kicked right on. And he was like, she's like, God, I feel stupid. He's like, well, I'm just happy that's all it was. And then he just turned around and left.
No. It's like, dumb woman, don't know how to do nothing.
I'm really glad that I was not here for that.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's like the Christmas Vacation with the Christmas lights turn on.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because now in our neighborhood, there's a construction company that's tearing out like all the wooded area near our house to make room for housing developments. And it's just this whole shit show. But they recently brought in these just countless amount of truckloads of dirt and soil and stuff to pack down. I don't know, whatever they're using it for, but just mountains of dirt, and whatever they're using in that soil just smells like horse shit. And you can smell it from streets away in the neighborhood. We went for a walk today, 3-4 streets away. You could still, because this is all happening right across the street from us. So now if I sit out in my backyard, now our house smells like poop. Bigsy, you cursed.
Oh no. Oh no, you're a poop.
You're a poop.
It's awful. I want to barbecue out in the backyard, but it's just anytime the wind blows, it just smells like you're in a pile of shit. It's disgusting.
Can you get a fan to put outside to keep the smell blowing in the other direction?
God, no, you can't escape it. I don't know how long it's going to be like this.
That's awful.
Could be months of this, but
you need to write a letter.
I'll show them though, because they have everything roped off so you can't go into their construction area, but I'm still sneaking in there to dump my lawn mowing trimmings and our weedings.
Nice.
Shit.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. There's no trespassing sign. There is ropes, but there's nothing telling me I can't go there. But that's where I was dumping my stuff, because it was just woods, and now they've taken that away from me. Sons of bitches. How have you been, Aaron? Haven't talked to you in a few weeks.
Good.
New uncle, congratulations.
Yeah, my brother-in-law had a kid, Mazel Tov, and yeah, went up and saw that with the wife. Saw her. Sorry.
Saw that thing.
Saw a child.
That freak.
Yeah.
Bared witness to that thing.
Yep. I said, this is only going to be 2 hours, right? We're just going to drive up, look at it, and go, okay, well, good luck with that, and then see a holiday, right? But no, we stayed and had a nice weekend. And
you wanted the drive there to be longer than your visit?
Yeah, it would have been by 2.5 hours. Yeah.
more time on the road.
Hmm.
Oh, that's good. Nice. How was your all's fourth experience with Madman? Yeah, without going into the details, did you?
I
Well,
it was. I
Listen,
think I split the difference this time, where it was like I watched it. It was there. I think last time I had done it sober. This time I had a nice two beer buzz going,
hmm
and there are parts of that movie that just fly, and you're like, all right, this movie's not as bad, and then there are parts that just drag down the whole shebang.
Yeah, I do have a question I want to bring up when we get into it, but we'll get there as we say. Um, so let's get into this matchup, shall we?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the newcomer for this week, we'll go through the stats, is 2009's House of the Devil, written, directed, edited, produced by Ty West. Um, this it's interesting. This movie was released, get this. Both of these movies we're watching today were released on October 30th.
Hey,
Ooh.
Madman 19,
spooky season.
so 2019 and 1981, what is that? 38 38
38.
years
Yeah.
Yep.
or 28? 28?
28.
28. Yeah, so
Do we
20
need to do Howard
28
Stern math? Let's do Howard Stern math.
28 years after people's minds got blown by Madman, their children showed up to watch this picture. So
You want
this
to take a guess at who was more entertained?
well, this could be debatable. I don't know. That we kind of left on a cliffhanger after the last episode with Aaron saying, "Oh, I think I hate that movie," and
Oh, I
then
definitely hate this movie. Yes.
woo,
Oh no.
this will be finally maybe some competition. We'll see.
Well,
I'm not going to give my thoughts.
I don't know that I hate this as much as you hate Event Horizon for whatever reason, but
Mm,
this is definitely
mm,
when I watched it, wasn't a fan. I'll get
mm.
into it, and when I watched it again, I tried to give it one in because it'd been long enough that it was a clear viewing, and I was just like, yeah, no, I don't really like this.
Wow. All right. Well, I can't wait to hear why your whatever your reasoning is.
Oh,
So this had a budget of uh nine. This can't be right. Nope, I had it wrong. Budget of $100,000. That can't be right either. Never mind. We'll good. uh, it was released in 7 theaters. Was its widest release, and yeah, so it made $100,000 in the box office on a $9,000 budget, which isn't bad.
Wow.
Uh,
It's a nice
nine
chunk of change.
thousand, nine
nine
thousand dollars.
thousand might have been 9 million. Let's say 9 million.
Listen, we live in a world where facts don't matter. Just roll with it.
We'll say 9 million. $100,000 budget. This stars Jocelyn Donahue, Tom Noonan, Greta Gerwig, Dee Wallace, and AJ Brown. And yeah, so that's really the only rundown for that. It's a pretty simple story. A college student set in the 1980s, I think 1985. I could be wrong on that. There's a college student named Samantha who is trying to make money so she can rent an apartment to get out of her dorm room because she kind of hates her uh, roommate. And she finds a bulletin posting for a babysitter, um, and answers. She reaches out and she gets the job, shows up to the house, and things might not be what they seem at this house. Pretty,
Hmm.
pretty simple setup for a movie. Let's get into it.
It was just to clarify. I looked it up. The budget 900,000. The box
900,000.
office was 101,000. So it lost its ass.
Oh boy.
Worse than Mad Men.
Ooh, boy.
Thank you for
At the
clarifying that. I couldn't read my own writing here.
Gloop.
Well, again, it was only released in 7 theaters, so I don't know how wide a release Madman got. That has never been made available to me, so I'm not sure. But yeah, that's rough. I mean, Ty West he's rebounded. He has since gone on to make, you know, X and Pearl and Maxine, and he kind of, I guess X was his breakthrough because before that he only did like Cabin Fever 2 and The Innkeepers, which I liked both of those, but they weren't hits. They probably both also lost money. So like X was huge for him, and now he has that franchise going. So good for him. But yeah, so I enjoyed this movie. I'd seen it years ago and I really liked it. Um, I think it's very subtle in its way that it portrays the 80s. It definitely, you know, it came out before the big boom of uh Stranger Things, where everything after that was set in the 80s. And it kind of, and it did it in a way where it was like there wasn't like, you know, in your face needle drops or like pop culture references every 2 seconds to let you know that you're in the 80s. Like he just did a really good job like capturing the vibes of the 80s. He made it, you know, it looked like an 80s movie. It was kind of paced like a, you know, he definitely captured the satanic panic, I guess, was the whole idea behind this. um and also, you know, there's been a shit ton of like satanic panic movies that have come out in the last, I would say, 3 or 4 years. So it's kind of a shame if he just, if this had come out in a decade later, it probably would have been huge.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this movie is awesome. I love how it's shot. I love the way it looks. I love all the casting choices in it. To your point, like the little bits in there that they did pull into it to make it feel like the 80s, like the main actor's Walkman. Like
Yeah.
even the point where she goes to open up the Walkman and the tape like gets stuck inside the machine and like the case, the top of the case still flips up. I'm like, oh my god, I remember that happening so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was just really cool, and I just like that it's a simple ghost story. It really is, unlike the competition Madman Mars. It's a story that you could tell around a campfire. You know, girl goes to gets tricked into going to a house on a babysitting job. Bunch of crazy, creepy stuff happens, and then everything just goes nuts at the end of the story. And I just liked it, how simple it was and how effective to me it was. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
It's
but then in the middle of it, there's like some crazy scenes to just kind of break it up, like where her friend, after dropping her off, you know, pulls over the cemetery to smoke, and the next thing you know, she just gets her brains blown out all over the car. It's just
yeah.
so unexpected and wild. It's almost jarring, and then it
I
just goes right back to being like the slow paced, creepy movie that it is.
I I loved that moment. It was so jarring just because of how everything was deliberately paced uh up to that point, and then just out of nowhere in a very quiet moment you just gunshot brains out. And you know at that point that like this girl babysitting the house is like, oh shit, she's stuck in this house now without knowing what just happened. So we know as viewers like there's some something going on in this house, what, you know, and she has no idea, and we still don't really know what's going on. So and then it takes its time kind of cluing you in as a viewer to like what is actually going on in the house, and then the reveal of it is fucking insane. And
Yeah, and
sorry,
I do also like that because up until the reveal, a lot of what's done is done differently than it's done in a lot of suspense movies, where like in a lot of suspense movies at hard, the audience, we're finding things out as the character is. But
mm-hmm.
this does a great job of like deliberately showing you things so you know what's going on, and she still doesn't. And so that helps to kind of like build the dread and the creep factor is like, oh god, this is just going to go so bad, and you're just waiting for it to happen at that point. I
Yeah,
really like that.
yeah. um I know Aaron's not saying much because he's gonna shit on our
He's got that. He's just sitting over there, that
yeah.
smug look on
I
his
guess I
face.
guess we'll go through what we liked about it, then let Aaron just piss all over our parade.
I don't no, I don't need to do a whole monologue, although I could do a whole TED talk on this actually being the reason there's a Stranger Things, because the timeline works out that way. But no, um,
What? No, now I got it.
All right. So,
What?
uh, Ty West, Mr. 2001 Teen People magazine feature, uh, was born like a few days before I was. So, like, he grew
Okay.
up the same things that we did. And this movie has all the hallmarks of a CBS movie of the week, where like it would have been Richard Crenna and Sandy Duncan in a
Yeah.
horror movie that would have looked just like this because yes, he did go back and he shot it on 16 millimeter. So like this would have been like, and I think even some of the marketing was, but I'm making this up, just for my intent. Was the fact that it was like, oh, it's a lost gem type movie where it's like, yeah, all growing up we had movies like this like once a month on ABC, like the big three broadcasters, where you can't show too much horror, you can't show too much because we don't have the budget for it. So you got to have a good twist, and you got to have at least a believable enough and care enough about the people, which is why you would get Sandy Duncan in the role that Jocelyn Donahue has in this.
This is fucking insane.
Or
I
so
want to
like
see Sandy
so
Duncan in this movie.
so yeah, like to me, I grew up with this. I don't know, you guys did too. I don't know how you can just be like, wow, this is great. It's just like it. I
Is
mean,
it
even when the opening credits title rips off moving in stereo, it's just like that's the Cars. But it's not the Cars. But it's the Cars. Remember the Cars? You like the Cars? You like Walkmans? Remember everybody loved a Volvo because they were safety, and everybody loves pizza. And we all put socks on our doors when we had our friends over to fornicate. Like it hits checks all the
Got our
boxes. Like
friends
it
over.
might as well be a Mad Men remake, in the
What?
sense
What?
Get the
that
fuck. All
you
right.
should have just
Wait,
done that, because that would have been at least as original as what
what are
this
you
movie is.
talking about?
Oh
It's a
no,
it's it is a
no.
total it's a total hey, remember when we were kids and we would watch
Well,
these type of movies?
no.
He made one just like that.
Maybe he did, but he still made it well. It was a well done movie.
I think the point of it was, as I said, it was deliberately paced to be like a. I mean,
Like a
I don't agree with your
movie of the week.
Hallmark movie of the week. I think it's leaps and bounds above the quality of those. But I think the point was to like pace it that way and then just give you an act three that is absolutely fucking bonkers, which goes against your point that it was like blood soaked, literally like gore, wall to
I don't
wall.
know.
Like,
I can still remember Intruders on CBS the miniseries. I still have nightmares from that, and that was pretty nasty.
oh my
Those
God.
aliens.
The
Like,
Star Wars Christmas special.
Well,
so,
that was before the '80s, but yeah,
so I get, I mean, to the Walkman and the Volvo, like those are just things of the time, which to
yeah.
me is different than like a Stranger Things or something where like they'll be like, "Whoa, Atari!" and like hold up an Atari, and then I don't know, like for no reason. It was subtle. They weren't like
To be
you know
fair, I've only seen 3 episodes of Stranger Things, so
well and things of that like that have come out since then. It's all about like
but I
let's
feel like
really show
what
that we're in the 80s. I thought
what
this was subtle how it
what
did
we
it.
were. I don't think it was subtle at all. Um, the issue I had, because
Get a
again,
Walkman?
I'm appalled
Ty
right now.
Ty West puts all these movies in the past because he can't make a good horror movie storyline that doesn't need to have cell phones out of the equation. Because every
Oh,
single one of these movies that he makes, if someone had a cell phone, you don't have a story and you don't have a movie.
that's any horror movie right now. Why the fuck was
Yeah.
Long set in the
Now when
90s?
they make a horror movie, it's just all of a sudden my cell phone isn't working.
Yeah, what are you talking
Oh
about?
no, I have no reception, or the
That's
devil's
why.
calling me on my cell phone.
That's why we had the big Appalachian horror boom of the mid
Yeah,
aughts.
yeah, but you either have to set it like nowadays, you either have to set it in a place where like, the deep south where people wouldn't have technology, or like Josh said, otherwise you get shit like, I mean,
They he
unfriended
even
or
uses commercial break segment edits Like
Yeah.
it goes to commercial break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called immersion.
Mm,
But like
mm.
I don't know, man. This is bonkers to me.
A
But
$300 bedroom to rent in the 80s. Too much money. Took
actually I
me
wrote
out of
it
the
down.
movie.
Those She was getting the whole house, wasn't she?
It was a one bedroom.
Oh, was it? I missed that.
Yeah.
I
But
think it was
So
half of a duplex, is what it was.
yeah.
it'd be like you got the downstairs, you got the upstairs, like your college living back in the day.
I made a
Uh,
note that said $100 for 1 month's rent. And then she says, and then some left over for other things. Like, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I do
Um,
like Greta Gerwig as the friend
yep.
destroying pizza because that's what all the kids did that
This movie
were in
made me
the
want to eat
80s.
pizza so bad.
Yeah, but then
Thin floppy pizza.
Sam never eats that pizza, and it pissed me off. Another thing that pissed me off about this
She
movie:
said it
just
was gross.
eat the pizza.
She said it was
You're
gross.
you're a poor college
It was
student. You'll
it
eat
was
anything.
foreshadowing to what happens to her later with the pizza.
Yeah.
See, that's so. I mean, I guess for the listeners who may not have seen this, so uh, the whole thing is that she this all takes place on a lunar eclipse, and the place that they're at is in like the path of totality. They say at some point like it's the best place in America to see this. So she goes to the house. The guy she meets is very, very strange. He's very off-putting. Like she's not feeling it, so she's like, I don't want to do this. He offers her like quadruple what she was going to make, and she's like, okay, I'll do it. As she's there, she's kind of like, oh, they tell her they lied to her and said it's not an actual baby you're babysitting, it's my mom. But she's like, you won't hear her, don't worry about it, just so she's kind of like walking around the house. She discovers that there's pictures of a family in that house that are not the people she met. So she's kind of, this is after we see Greta Gerwig get her brains blown out. So we're like, what's going on? And then we see like, oh, there's a family that lived here. Where are they? And then she finds basically like goes up to the attic and sees like a pentagram drawn in blood on the floor. And then the people come out and it basically turns in like they're a satanic cult who have to do this sacrifice on the lunar eclipse. So they dragged her here to basically impregnate her with Satan's child. And they do this through a really gruesome ritual. And she breaks free and annihilates everybody. But she finds out that they successfully did impregnate her, and she now has Satan's child in her, so she shoots herself. And then at the end, we realize she's in a coma. Both her and the baby are gonna live, which was fucking amazing. What? It's so good.
Yeah.
Another
Very
reason
Very good.
that I don't appreciate this film is because now I can never trust another human being. Because why do you have someone come over? Which again, it's a cover story, but you Sam don't know that it's a cover story yet. Decide to go throughout the entire house, listening to The Fix, and rummage through drawers.
I would.
No, why? No one would do that. Why would you do that?
Because she's a curious girl in her 20s. She's
Yeah.
No.
If you're in that creepy old house, you'd be like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
No.
I'd play some pool. She'd play some billiards.
That was the most horror that I got from this. That I was like, you can't just trust a human being to be decent and read a book and just sit on a
Nope.
couch, wait to die.
Well, I mean,
You
look,
had to go through the house, rummage through it, not just like open a door and look in, but to like start rummaging furiously through drawers just to look for what?
counter to what you were saying earlier. Who knows what babysitters in the 80s did? They didn't have phones they could just look at. They had like, she turns on the TV, there's like three things to watch. She got bored. What are you going to do? You're going to go through this big creepy house and look through their shit. They didn't have, that was before like even a Game Boy existed. Like,
she could have got on the phone and just rang up their phone bill because they wouldn't have known.
I thought the part where she like calls and orders the pizza was also that's kind of also a part where you're like, uh-oh, that was
Yep.
a, that was a creepy conversation. Something
Pizza,
weird.
pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
honestly thought
checked out
that guy was
poison.
David Ashby from Danger Five. Like I had to look it up while I was watching it because it looked just like him and it sounded
Huh.
just like his American voice. And of course, you know he was going to be the pizza guy, the son.
Yeah, I thought it was David Krumholtz.
No, it was it
It
was
must have been
some guy.
AJ Brown,
Uh,
I think it was, is
uh,
mine.
is your notes? Yeah, AJ
I
Bowen.
just know had it been a movie that I would have written and directed, it would have been you.
Yeah, well that's fine.
That role was written for you.
I just thought like again to go back to the third act, I thought it was paced so well that like once that hits and it's just like 15 minutes of just what the fuck is going on, that creepy like I guess the grandma or the mom who's actually like a devil creature demon. I don't even know what it was. Was it like the mom who was
I
like
felt so bad for the makeup person that did the mom because she was basically using this movie as a test run, like to get film out to be like, hey, look, this project I work on. Here's what I did. It cuts to her hand, and her hand has no makeup on it, and it looks pristine like a 20-year-old's. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, we spent all the time here. And
yeah.
Ty, now you're not going to see my hand, are you? Oh, no, don't worry about it. Your face looks great. And then featured the hand with no makeup on, looking pristine.
That's your $900,000 budget at work, baby.
Yeah.
They spent
I don't know. I really I've always enjoyed this kind of movie. I've obviously, as we said earlier, as was said earlier, we grew up watching movies like this, and it just
Mhm.
felt like a great throwback and homage. I thought that it was really well paced and well done. And it really just it's just everything that I personally love in a horror movie. Like there's a slow build, it's creepy, and then like when shit hits the fan, it just hits the fan hard, and it's chaos for the third act, and then you get out, and that's what I like. That's what I want to see, and it really filled that spot for me.
Yeah, and I think that's what Ty West does. Like I've enjoyed every movie I've seen. Even the Cabin Fever 2 that he did, I thought was awesome. But he seems to do like homages. Like, X was a uh,
Seems too.
like X was a Texas Chainsaw homage. Pearl was like, what if Wizard of Oz was a fucking nightmare? Like what if? And then you guys haven't seen Maxine, and Aaron probably won't, but like, it was just
Oh,
a
I
really
will.
cool
I'll hate
homage to
watch
like
it.
it was a really cool like just one of those greasy like Frankenhooker type, like he's like a Tarantino of horror films. I'm not saying he's that talented, but that's like his gig. Like he makes these horror movies that are kind of just homages to other things that exist, and he does it really well. And yeah, I'm a fan of his, and I like this movie quite a bit. In fact, I think for me, Madman is obviously the bottom, the low bar. But like each
Wait
week,
till the end.
I think each week we've gotten progressively better movie, like starting with Event Horizon to now, like
No.
just there's no chance for
Let
well,
me let me ask a question
uh-huh.
before I do have some positives to give since
Sure.
creative
Yeah, we're
criticism has
we're
been
all
listed.
about
But
positivity, reinforcement.
have either of you two ever heard or had a Skybar candy bar
No, never heard of
as
it.
featured in this film?
Oh
No.
no.
I looked at that and I was like,
Do they
again,
exist?
this exists, but I've never seen this shit. And
Does it
is it?
exist? Is it a real thing?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, everything
I
else is
just
real.
assumed it was like a big Kahuna burger that he just made up for the movie.
Oh no,
But
I'm pretty sure there is a Skybar
let's say it
bar.
existed. Why is that a knock on the movie that
It's
they
not.
showed a
I'm
sidebar?
just asking.
Oh,
Have you ever had one?
oh, okay. I thought it's hard to tell. So, no, I haven't.
All right. Well, that's maybe something for us to look into is to
I'm gonna do
try
it
out Sky
right now.
Bars.
I'm
I'm
gonna look
going
it
to
up
hand out.
All
while you
right.
do.
My
Now give this movie some flowers.
positive. All
Yeah.
right, here I'm going to give some flowers out. Sure, I'll adapt whatever you want to use for an analogy. Besides all of the horseshit commercial breaks from our CBS movie of the week that Ty throws into here, he does
Unreal.
have one great match cut where it goes from the cemetery right
Mhm,
into the tree in the front yard, where it
mhm.
just blends into that tree from like the
Yeah.
tree and like where Greta Gerwig dies.
Mhm.
So that was great. Uh,
Edited by Ty West too, so that is a
yes,
Ty West
that was great filmmaking. Congratulations.
credit.
Also, the
Wow.
cast is really great. You know, you
Yeah.
had again a bunch of 80 people like what was his name? Tom Noonan,
Tom Noonan was great.
Frankenstein from
Oh yes, I
Monster
had that
Squad,
note. Thank you. He was
or Kane,
Frankenstein.
Kane from RoboCop 2.
Yeah. Go
You already
Gus.
you already said Dee Wallace, ET's
You
mom from
was.
ET,
Yep.
and then Mary Moranov from Eating Raoul and Chopping Mall, etc., etc., etc. So
Yeah.
like, it's like,
And that
hooray! It's
yeah.
nice that you gave those people part of your $900,000.
So here's a question I had, and this might be a long stretch, but did anybody feel like Dee Wallace's character at the beginning as the landlady that she's renting from, was she somehow attached to the whole, yeah, Sky Bar's a real thing?
Yeah.
She's holding a picture of a Sky Bar. Uh, did anybody feel like she was also part of that whole cult and she was just helping to draw her into that need to get the money quicker?
I didn't.
Because she even says like, "Oh well, there was another girl that I showed this off to, but I like you
Uh,
much better." And then she went on to see like, "You remind me of my daughter." It just got really weird, like the compliments that she was paying her. It just made me
no,
wonder, like, is that supposed to like allude that maybe she could also be involved with that family somehow?
I
no, because
didn't.
you could say Megan or what was Greta? Yeah, Megan was Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
Was more involved because she took all the signs down
Yeah.
Okay,
for the
that's true.
post.
I I
I
think
think
it
that was Dee Wallace just being the one nice person in the movie that wasn't going to rummage through your
yeah.
stuff if you
And
asked her to babysit
they
an
also
elderly
kind of
mother.
they also kind of make it clear that that family had the satanic family had like traveled from because he's like, we used to be in a place like basically like a desert or whatever. So it made it seem like they traveled there just because it was the place of totality for the eclipse and then killed that family.
Fair enough. Sorry, I
No,
digress.
that it made
No,
me think
no,
for a minute. That's a good observation, and actually would have been cool. That would have fuck, this movie sucks. Why didn't he do that?
Damn it,
Oh,
Ty West.
and again, thank you for giving some of your $900,000 to Lena Dunham to do the voiceover
Yeah, that
ADR work
actually,
as the operator.
I'm gonna take one full star away for her appearance and even as a voice. He's also he did the innkeepers, and she also plays like a just a voice operator in that as well. So I don't know what's going on with that,
They're friends.
Well, nobody's perfect.
but but yeah,
I mean, I get it. It should be a movie that I like because again, I grew up with all the stuff, but I don't know why Planet Terror doesn't bother me because it does all the aping of
that's and
sludge grindhouse stuff. But man, it just like this movie would have been great if he didn't just rely on what I think is a crutch.
see, I think Planet Terror, as much as I love it, I think that was more like look at, and that was the point of it to be like, look at what we're doing, look what we did, and I don't
Yeah,
think that's what Ty West was doing here. I think he was just like, I want to make a movie that looks like it's something I fucking rented from video time down the street when I was a kid,
Yep,
like, and
that's how I feel.
yeah, and not be
well,
like, look what I did, guys. Here's a sky bar. Like he just wanted to do something that he loved as a
Sky
kid.
bars look delicious, by the
You
way. I need
do.
to
I'm
what
gonna.
find.
is a sky bar?
So it's
Uh,
a unique candy bar consisting of milk chocolate with four different things or fillings: caramel, vanilla, peanut, and fudge.
Hmm,
I would take
that's
that caramel
that's a
all day.
lot. That is a lot.
Get that peanut out of here. Get that
Uh,
shit out.
any final thoughts on the
Uh,
Challenger?
I don't think so. I think I covered everything I needed to cover. Um, we can get into Madman, but before we do, should we take a little break?
There's going to
Let's
be an
take a
intermission because
yeah.
I gotta go pick up all the broken vases that Sam has just smashed.
He broke
Well,
one.
she was rummaging through my house while I was away visiting my child, or
He was
my
filmed.
child, not my child, my
Your mom, your grandma.
is it a niece? It's a niece.
I don't understand how you hate this movie so much.
I truly
I
don't.
I don't
it's
understand it.
I could get being like it's slow, it's a little
no,
boring, but like just
it
the vitriol.
just
You
everything. I grew up with two channels, and I had to watch movies of the week, and it just put me
this
in
was not a
that
movie of the
mindset.
week.
Yeah,
I
it
don't.
was.
I don't ever remember watching a TV movie with Sandy Duncan, but I would like to see her in a horror movie where she gets knocked in the head and her glass eye rolls out into the floor.
Jeez.
Well,
Woo.
she's I'm pretty sure dead, so that's never going to happen. And on
Well,
that bombshell,
good luck. We'll be back.
We're canceled.
Come on, Dippy, give us a hand.
Okay, so before we do get into Madman, there's something I think we should um some business at hand that pertains to Madman.
Oh
But
boy,
so I think it would make
Madman business is my favorite business.
yeah,
yeah,
so I
that sounded
received,
very solemn, like there was going to be bad news on the
well,
Madman front.
no, it's weird. And I don't know. So I got an email this week from Jason Blum at Blumhouse Studio, and the subject is Madman remake. Do not read until your next record. So I haven't opened this yet. I have no idea what it says. So
Shut the fuck up.
we're going to we're going to find out together. I'm excited. Okay, so it says dearest buckle eaters. That's us, I guess.
He's a fan.
I am writing this to you as my studio, Blumhouse Studios, is in the process of pitching a staggering amount of horror movie remakes to be released in the next calendar year. Over 500. One of these sure to be commercial and critical sensations is none other than Madman, but we can only get it greenlit if the film is perfectly cast. This is where you all come in. As you are the world's foremost scholars in the field of Madman, I would like to call on your expertise to recast this movie. Please note, I am only interested in actors who have appeared in the following pictures: Event Horizon, Cemetery Man, Planet Terror, and House of the Devil. I can't wait to see what you've come up with. We're going to make so much fucking money we'll be shitting piggy banks from now on. Seriously, I'm never wrong about these remakes. Love the show. XOXO Jason Blum.
Did you write that with AI?
I did. This is from Jason Blum. What are you talking about? Hold on. There's a PS. Please only cast adult characters from the movie. All the young campers have already been cast with the Stranger Things kids. PPS. Dippy is reprising his role because he is already perfect. Do not recast Dippy. So,
Well,
all right.
first of all, Dippy is going to be 80 next year. I don't know that he's still active, but I guess for Blumhouse, he might be able to be wheeled in.
All right.
Reprise
So
the role.
starting off right off the bat,
So, yeah.
Sorry,
So
go
I guess no. I guess the exercise so that we can get this greenlit for Blumhouse is we'll just all like I'll name a character from it and we'll just pitch it, and together we have to come up like Josh, if you pitch something and it's the perfect actor and we all agree with it, then that's who we'll cast. But if we have
okay.
a different one in mind, we'll go through it. So
Wait, what have we watched? Planet Terror, Cemetery Man.
it says in his email they are only interested in actors who were in Event Horizon, Cemetery Man, Planet Terror, and House of the Devil.
All right. Well, I got one right off the bat then.
All right, well, let's start with the hot tub enthusiast TP. Anybody got any ideas from the from the pre-approved list of movies from Blumhouse?
Freddy Rodriguez.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Although I think he can actually hit a note.
Yeah.
I like Freddie Rodriguez for that.
That's a good one. I know.
Could I pitch Tom Savini?
Yeah.
Little old for.
Well, look, it's Hollywood. Age doesn't matter, baby.
Are we gonna de-age?
Yeah, there could be de-aging. They hire 40-year-olds to play 12 to 18-year-olds all the time. Age doesn't matter. We're just talent, baby. Talent.
I really want to see Tom Savini as Madman flopping with his feet flopping around out in the woods. But okay.
No,
so-
Madman is easily Tom Noonan.
Hold on. All right, so we're gonna say TP's Freddie Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would be next? So do we just want to go ahead and cast Madman?
Madman's Tom Noonan has to be. Sorry.
You've got Tom Noonan. Any other pitches? I
We'll go with that.
I would
He's
not.
He's got the chops.
I wouldn't mind seeing Sam Neill as Madman. No?
See, I got him in a different role.
Okay. All right, so we're in agreement with Tom Noonan.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Who else we got?
You got counselors.
Yeah, Dave. No, wait. Who's the the girl? I had this.
Betsy, the main girl.
This whole
We've
thing
watched
off.
this movie for 4 weeks. You should have
Yeah,
the names burned in your
Hey.
brain.
Who's gonna be Betsy?
Betsy is easily Lena Dunham because she does nothing in the entire movie except shoot one of her friends in the face. Not to say that Lena Dunham doesn't do anything, but it just seems like everyone kind of has a sour taste about her. So why not make her the worst character, protagonist in the history of horror movies?
All right, Betsy is Lena Dunham, who
Mhm.
does not appear on screen. All right, who's the flute girl?
Oh, Flute Girl.
Blue Girl's got to be the actress from House of the Devil. I don't know her name.
No, put Rose
I
McGowan
was
because
gonna
Rose
say Rose
McGowan
McGowan.
gets shit done.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rose McGowan, because
She
she's a
seemed to-
badass. She kicks
She
ass.
is badass.
Okay, next we have hold on. We have Dave.
Who's the? Wait, what's the name of the guy? The head of the camp.
Oh, you're talking
Max.
about Max.
There's your Sam Neill.
Okay.
What about Josh Brolin, man? I don't know. Josh...
Brolin would be a good. Brolin would be a good Madman.
He'd also be a good TP, but you could cast Brolin in every role in this movie.
What about?
Why don't we just go ahead and have Madman go back and be Francois Haji Lazaro, who played Nagi? I think Francois would make a better Madman than any of those other.
Francois would also make an excellent Dippy. It's a shame that he's already been cast.
Jason Blum said he's already been cast. What about Fishburne as Max?
I could see Fishburne as Max.
Yeah, could do that.
Yeah. So do we want Sam Neill or Fishburne as Max?
I could see Fishburne as Dave with that ultra serious Shakespearean soliloquy that he launches into.
And I could see Sam Neill better as Dave being the weirdo. You don't know anything about me or what goes on in my mind.
I'm off the project. You guys can take this.
No.
Nah.
All right, so we can interchange. We'll let Bloom decide. So Max,
what if there's multiple Madmen this time? Because again, it's
all
in the kids. It's all in the kid's mind. They manifest him anyway.
The Madmaniverse.
The Madmaniverse. Mad Men.
Robert Downey Jr. is the Madman.
So we're gonna go to Jason Blum and say Max or Dave is either Fishburne or Sam Neill.
Yeah, your pick.
We're gonna
flip
make
a coin. Flip a coin.
It really is a coin flip.
Played by both of them. They just switch out in between scenes.
Perfect.
All right. Mustache. Bill.
Yeah, who's playing Bill, the mustachioed man?
Oh, see, that's a Brolin to me.
Okay.
Brolin.
Trying to think. Could that be Savini?
That could be Savini.
That could be Savini. You could do Rupert Everett there.
Oh, could be Rupert Everett.
I think the little girl should be played by the old sheriff from Planet Terror.
They're not supposed to cast children though. They've already got
Oh,
them.
that's right.
They
Damn it, this thing's falling apart.
actually, you know who else would be a good Dave? Not to interrupt, would be Naveen Andrews from
Wait,
Lost. Abby from Planet Terror.
oh wait, which one's Abby?
The
The
guy
testicle
who
guy?
the testicle guy from Lost.
Okay, as who? Dave? I like Fishburne or Neil. I think we got to nail them in. But we still there's one more character to cast.
Okay.
Uh, the Jan Claire as Ellie. Remember Ellie? She
Yes. So how could you forget
went
Ellie's?
through the kitchen for 25 minutes straight.
I did count how long her
I did
death
too.
scene
Oh,
takes.
oh, brother, I've got
Is
notes.
she the saucy broad?
No,
No,
she's
she's
the one that gets
she's
shot in the face by Betsy
she's
after doing a Dr. Jones in the kitchen refrigerator.
yeah.
So
She's
she's not the one that. Okay, it's perfect.
got the mullet and the
All
Muppet
right.
face.
She's just let Anna Fauci be Ellie.
Okay, who?
From
Okay.
Cemetery
Oh
Man.
yeah, that'd be huge. Got to have some eye candy in there.
Yeah.
Not that Rose McGowan's not, but okay. All right, so we've got the new cast that we're gonna send off
Oh no.
is TP played by Freddie Rodriguez,
Uh-huh.
Madman Tom Noonan, Betsy Lena Dunham, uh,
Why?
the what's her name? The flautist is Rose McGowan.
Stacy.
Stacy. Max is either Fishburne or Neil. Take your pick by
Both.
Coin
theme.
flip.
Dave, Fishburne or Neil.
Mhm.
Bill, Tom Savini, and Ellie, Anna Falchi Mulchi. Boom. I'll type it up. I'll send it out, and hopefully we'll see a Madman reboot within the next 2 months, because that'll be how long it'll take them to churn that shit out. All right. Well, thank you for indulging Jason Blum in that exercise.
I feel like
Let's
I feel like the fifth wind has blown and left you blood mad after that little discourse.
I mean, hey. All right. What do we want to say about round 4 of Madman?
I want to say that I hate this fucking movie so much. It's like,
No.
listen, okay, I know we got to crunch whatever we got left into a little bit of time, so I'll explain my relationship with this movie. So that TV show How I Met Your Mother, there's an episode where two of the characters are driving in a car, and the
I'm gonna
car.
take your word for this, whatever you have to say about that show.
What?
I'm gonna take your word for whatever you have to say.
Okay, well, that's why so two of the characters are driving in a car. They have no radio stations available, and the only thing they had to listen to is a tape that's stuck in the tape deck of the car that plays. It's a single of the Proclaimers' "I Would Walk 500 Miles." And so there's like a time lapse of them on this road trip. And so the first time the song's playing, they're like kind of bopping to it. And then like it says like it cuts to like 20 minutes later and they all like sad and like hanging out like just like miserable. They're still listening to the song. And it cuts to 40 minutes later and they're all ecstatic and they're like, I would walk back. And they're like singing along. And then it's like 60 minutes later. And then they're like really sad again because they're still listening to it.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
my relationship with Madman. And I'm going through the
Accurate.
sad time after this last watch.
Well, I said it last week. I'm always excited to talk about Madman, but just watching it is a different story.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
It's awful.
I have a question. Why did they have to specify that this is a gifted camp? Because these kids, the kids at this camp are dipshits.
It's the only way to possibly explain how they range from age 8 to 80.
Plus, again, back to my theory about Madman Mars being a figment of their imagination. Betsy even says, and I quote, Mars is a figment of Max's imagination, who I've already established is Professor Xavier.
She's
So-
just saying that to
And
calm.
listen, I've been to Epcot. I rode the ride
God.
with Figment. That's what this was.
All right.
Figment made Madman Mars because of Max and all the gifted kids he had hired, or not hired, but had brought in to his school for gifted youngsters,
I'm
I-
gonna go
Long
through.
Island.
I'm gonna go through my points that I wanted to get out of the way after this
Yep.
last viewing. First, TP is a bully. He is not a
Yes.
good dude. He's a bully. He's like, Richie, Richie. And at the beginning, like, he's picking on Richie, and then Richie doesn't even say anything. He's like, what'd you say? And he's like, I didn't say anything. And then he just keeps like going after him, and then like hazes them by making them walk like boot step back to the camp, or like military shuffle, or whatever they do, whatever
Yep.
it's called. He's not a nice person. He's terrible.
Yeah. True.
Another thing, why all the hand claps? Why do we get claps when they tell the story both stories at the campfire at the beginning? It gets like crowd applause, and then when TP apologizes to Betsy, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yes.
They all clap for it. What is with the group clapping?
It's
I don't-
personal support and growth.
Yeah.
It's bizarre and it's weird. And to another point with the clapping, they're all clapping and cheering after Max tells the story of Madman Mars. And then 2 scenes later, he's being told that it's too scary for the children and that he shouldn't be saying it. When
That's that one.
they're all like cheering about it.
Yeah. That's
That's
I
also-
think possibly there might be holes in this script.
Yes. But okay, and then a minor thing. So at the beginning, the thing that we made fun of since the very beginning, when he first says, Madman Ma. It's almost like the dialogue after that is just ad lib to try to get him to say it again the right way. And even like when he immediately repeats it, he goes, Madman Ma. And like, I still like at the end.
Josh, I actually had a note about that. Like, it's so funny that he like you can't say his name above a whisper. Then he goes, Madman Ma. And one of the kids me goes, what'd you say? I couldn't hear you. And then he says it loud. Madman Mars. What do you And then
I also love what's becoming one of the worst scenes since that scene in the room where Tommy Wiseau just walks into the florist, has some really crazy random dialogue, and leaves.
Oh, you're my best customer. Yeah.
When is the blonde haired actor plays Betsy? Is that her name?
Betsy is the blonde from
Betsy.
Dawn of the Dead, whose name Galen
her
Ross
and another
was
girl
her
are
name on
talking,
this.
and they start off talking about TP and what a loser he is, and then the other girl's like, I know what I want a real man kind of conversation. It's like the most random dialogue to exist between 2 people who have never met each other before, and then it ends with her being like, remind me to give you my number tomorrow before we leave. It's like, why not just do it now? Why don't you just exchange numbers right now? And then they go, bye, and they just like part ways. It's the most weird, awkward scene in a movie.
It was harder to exchange numbers in those days. You couldn't just pull out your phone and call somebody and give them.
I guess.
Can you get out a piece of paper
Yeah.
and
You have a pen.
by candlelight, write down?
I'll go through my notes.
Okay, because
still have one
I have.
more about
Go
Dave
for
and his stupid Shakespearean soliloquy, but I'll hold it.
Yeah,
No,
go for it.
Go for it.
I think we should
It's-
take the turns because
Maybe this is
I have
how we
some.
approach it this week.
I talk about it every time we talk about this movie, but I just hate it so much. It's just so random and ridiculous how like they're all sitting around in front of the fire getting high, and somehow they mention fire means destruction, and it just launches them into this stupid monologue about how nobody knows who he could be, and he could be a monster, and he could murder you all. And it's like in the background there's like this weird like 16-bit video game music playing that's just like horns and random like dogs barking and like hand claps. It's the strangest thing.
I
This
think
movie confuses me and it makes me sad. I hate it.
I think that scene was like a piss poor attempt at a like red herring. Like, oh, is he the one killing these people? Because
I get it.
Is he the one dressing up in long johns and overalls and balloon
Fat
feet and lighting and snuffing out candles randomly? Maybe
Then
it
at the
is
end of
Dave.
At the end of it, then they all start laughing and like rolling around on the ground, hugging each other. It's after he tells them that he'd kill them all. It's
Yeah.
just like the fucking
They're high on
stupidest.
grass, man. That's what happens when you smoke doobies.
I hate
We've
this
We've all
movie
been
so
there.
much.
We've all acted like
I
that.
don't. I don't want to watch this movie again, guys.
I think we're still going to, even though I hate the
We
other
can
one.
end the podcast or lie and say that this.
All right, Jared.
So I kind of mentioned why the fact that they're gifted kids, but they're like Richie is a dipshit. He gets lost in these woods. He goes to the house twice, circles back around to it, and we're shown in the beginning when he throws a rock, he's close enough to the fire. They're camped out close enough to this murder house that he can throw a rock through the window.
Richie's got a hell.
And no one is smelling rot. No one is doing like no one. No search parties have found Madman Mars's family in this house that is so close to this camp.
Well, I think Max even says too that they're camped out right in front of it.
Yeah. But he somehow gets lost twice. This gifted child, who's presumably been to this camp a lot or for a long time.
And of course, his name is Richie because what child from the 80s who misbehaved wasn't named Richie?
Of course. There's one.
If you were Ricky, you were an ass kicker, and if you were Richie, you were a son of a bitch.
There's one part when TP and Max are trying to pull the axe out of the stump. Mm-hmm. It gets real dramatic, and Max has this quote that I wrote down because TP's like, "What's the point? You're just gonna lose." And he gets real dramatic, and he says, "Losing, winning, what's the difference? Play the game with a fair heart, and you will always be able to look yourself in the mirror. Play too hard to win, and you might not like what you become." Which has no bearing on anything else in the rest of the movie. And it's
full disclosure. Yeah. I have 2 points of full disclosure. One, I got that tattooed in reverse on my chest over the weekend. So every time I wake up and take a shower and get ready in the morning, I can read those thoughts from Max and reflect on them in my own personal way every morning. Mm-hmm. And then second of all, I actually did pull that for the stinger this week.
Oh shit! Edit that out, or we'll surprise the people. My other notes, I didn't really have much. I did want to go through a timestamp of Ellie being chased. One goof I found that has to do with this chase scene is there. Madman, while he's chasing Ellie through the kitchen, is limping so badly that there's a point where he enters the kitchen, she runs around the counter to hide in the fridge, which would take Madman maybe 5 steps to turn the corner to see her, but they have to have him limp so badly to time it out that it takes him like 15 seconds to get around the corner. Then it shows him in the next scene, and he's just like basically like frolicking in the woods, like doing a heel click.
I was going to say, how do we know that one of his balloon feet didn't explode at that point? But I guess you just
it is that. I did. Who knows how his feet? Who knows the physics of his big fat feet?
What is your Ellie timer in minutes and seconds?
Oh, so
see how close I got.
It starts. I had it 107.
107 in 2 seconds. Yes.
And I had 107.1, so we were off by a second. And then I had, oh shit, where's the end? What do you have for the end? I have
1 hour, 13 minutes, and 9 seconds.
Yeah, I put 113.2. She comes out of the fridge.
Yeah, so I had 6 minutes and 7 seconds, and your runtime is 88 minutes.
6 minutes of a nothing. It's not a chase. It's not
1/16 of your movie. More than 1/16 of your movie is the Ellie chase.
2 people limping, horribly acting a limp. I think she changes legs. I need to watch for that next week to see if
there you go.
Changes legs. I have at hour 1:10:52. She gets in the fridge. She doesn't get out until 1 Nope, sorry. I messed that up. 109 minutes she gets in the fridge. She gets out at 1:10:52. She's in a fridge for an entire minute.
There
Of
is a fridge
that
in
is
Madman
forever.
Mars's house in that because that's the kitchen besides the downstairs and the attic is all you
Yeah.
see of his house. He knows what a refrigerator is.
And again,
He has to be toying with her.
In this scene where he enters the kitchen just behind her, she limps around the corner, opens the fridge, and frantically throws shit out of it. You can hear the commotion as he's in the kitchen hearing this.
Now,
And, like,
to be fair, his bad eye is his right eye, so he doesn't have
his ears are fine. He doesn't have to see shit. He could totally know. That sounds like a woman screaming, opening a refrigerator, throwing all of the contents out, and then closing it. And there's nowhere else in this room she could have gone. And then she's in there for it even shows her inside the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
In there for a minute.
Yes.
And then my last note is that after all that, I for some reason it never registered that after all that, it's her friend that shoots her in the face.
Betsy.
After Madman axes her in the chest, she survives that. Then like jump scares into a window and Betsy shoots her in the face.
And she explodes like fireworks.
She explodes and Betsy has zero reaction to it.
Because they've never met before in their entire lives.
And then my last note, sorry, I know I'm going long. She didn't learn her lesson because then when she goes into Madman's house and she has the shotgun, like something gets knocked off a table and she just turns and shoots. Like immediately turns and fires without thinking, oh, I just blew my best friend's brains out. Maybe I should be a little more cautious.
Well, I mean, truthfully, her best friend
turned and shot one of the kids.
Her best friend would have been Stacy, who they hadn't exchanged their phones numbers yet. So Ellie was way down on the pecking order.
Oh God! All right, sorry.
I refuse to learn these characters' names because I don't want Madman to have that much space in my head.
Oh well, but you have it, your listeners to be able to
maybe
follow.
Next week.
Well, there may be
maybe next week.
All right. So here are my updates or concerns this week with Madman. Is Shudder and my TV got together since last time, and the auto closed captioning worked this time in this viewing. So we have updates from all my closed captioning concerns from last week. Number one on the closed captioning issue is when TP says you're a poop.
Mm-hmm.
That does not come up. And we all heard it. He says you're a poop.
Yes, he does.
So that is not closed caption. So again, for anyone out there with a friend,
you still have no. I mean, I think it says that. I believe it says that, but we need.
It says you're a poop.
Yeah,
it's not going to be in the script. It's not going to be in the closed captioning. It is in the heavily AR dubbed.
And unfortunately, Tony Fish is no longer with us, so we'll never know.
You're going to have to ask what's his face that keeps the Paul Ears. You're going to have to keep checking in with Paul Ears, who plays Madman Mars. Keeps the candle lit for this movie. All right. Then, of course, the other question that we had in concern, and that was the biggest reason about the closed captioning, was what does Betsy say as she's dying, Silent Night style, up on the hook? What does she say when someone off camera uses their hand to come up? Because it's not her hand that holds that knife.
No.
Closed captioning. Josh, what do you think she says in that point? Because it sounded like Latin or some shit.
Yep.
What do you think Betsy said, Josh?
Burn the film.
Too many words. It's one word.
Well,
burn. Okay.
Could she possibly say burn
it? Yes. All right, that's your guess. Jared, what do you think? What do you think she says?
I know what she says, and I'm so glad you picked this up because I was gonna say it, but I wanted to leave it.
Knife.
I took a screenshot.
The knife.
Because I was so worried that your closed captioning would not work that I really wanted to know what it says. and I took
See, I didn't even realize it said the knife.
But what she said, I rewound it, and I'm wondering if it was like a weird like French translation from a, but because it sounds like she says like la nifa, or
I mean, it would be in italics if it was a translation.
but I mean like so, I wonder if like a foreign overdub
Oh,
made the final print of the actual vocal track, because it like I rewound it so many times and she says la nifa, and that's what popped up. It's like, what the
They
fuck?
got Colleen
Adds
Kennedy
more mystery
to
to it.
act like her role in Clue and do
all right.
the ADR.
And this is my final thing before we're done for the today. Stacy, again, the best scene in the movie with her in the canoe with her recorder, which I believe is a tenor recorder. Don't hold me on that. We might have to reach out to the actress Harriet Bass. But anyway, for character building, do you think she was part of the Recorder Society of Long Island?
Oh,
Because the Recorder Society of Long Island was formed in 1974. It's celebrating its 50th anniversary this year.
oh my god.
If for more information, go to rsli.info, and dues are $40 a year.
I bet she did do that much research for her character.
If this movie or if this movie podcast does nothing, I hope people know now that there is a Recorder Society of Long Island that may or may not include Harriet Bass in its membership.
Well, if we ever get a Patreon off the ground, I say we use some of the proceeds to support the Recorder Foundation of
Yes.
Long Island.
I bet they're loaded. A bunch of Long Island rich folks that have nothing better to do with their time than learn the recorder.
All right, what's next
God
week?
bless them. Well,
Wait, who's the winner?
first we got to give our final thoughts on our winner. Let's start with, well, I
Who's
think
our loser?
Aaron's. Let's start with you, Aaron.
It's still Madman.
Yeah,
All right.
Madman.
Even
goes
with
on.
all your hatred of, which
It's still an accomplished movie, much more than Madman.
we need to talk offline about how much you hate House of the Devil. I fucking love House of the Devil. It's the best movie we've seen in this whole exercise. I think it's a masterpiece. It's way better than Madman. So we're watching Madman next week. What's it gonna go up against? Let's check our random generator of movies. It's Friday the 13th, part 6.
Oh my. Okay. Well.
Two camp horror movies this week. We had 2 October 30ths. That's so fucking crazy that they both
That
came
is
out
crazy.
Right before Halloween. How is that crazy?
I mean, I get it. Yeah.
just in our little
Ty
exercise.
West probably saw Madman did it, and then he's like, you know what would be great, guys?
I bet Ty West loves Madman. And you know what? I'm going to pitch that to Jason Blum. Get Ty West. And my response to Jason Blum, I'm going to say, we want Ty West to direct it.
I don't want to watch Madman again.
You got to, buddy. I'm sorry.
I hate you guys.
Hey, folks, I hope you leave room for next week because we are going to eat the buckle.
Oh, let it go, TP. We lost. There'll be another time.
Maybe, but I don't like losing.
Losing, winning, what's the difference? Play the game with a fair heart, and you'll always be able to look yourself in the mirror. Play too hard to win, and you might not like what you become.